In this demo, we tried to show how to import requirements, how to create a user and then import requirements from a different document into TestLink. So first, let's log in as admin. And this was what we see is a dashboard. Then let's go into user management, where we are going to create a user. So we create a user, user3, and the first name is, let's keep it as user, and the last name is as 3, and the password is 123456, and let's put in a email as user3 at organization.com. And for the purposes of simplicity, we give this user the privilege of a leader. We'll talk about what are the privileges later. The locale is English, and then we'll save the user. So this is how the user has been created. User 3 has been created now. Then we go back to the dashboard and we create a test project. So the steps for creating of a test projects are exactly the same, similar to the user. We press on create. Let's give it a name, test project 4. Related notes, you can write any information about the test project. This is a test project for demonstrating TestLink, and this is a test case ID prefix. We'll talk about that later. Let's give it TC4 for the moment, and then we click on requirements management in order to make sure that this test project will have requirements specification. And we also click on priority management because we may need to prioritize our test cases later on. Then we press create, and the task for the admin is done at this stage. One more thing we may want to check, we'll go back to the dashboard and then look at user management once again and assign the roles to the user. So in this case, for test project 4, the user 3 is a leader. We may want to specifically allocate him as the leader, and then we press update on this, and now our task is done. So as an admin, what we have done is we have created a user, we have assigned a role to the user, we have created a test project and assigned the user to that test project. Next, we are going to log in as a user. So let's log in as user 4, and the password is 123456. I'm sorry, user 3. And now let's click on requirement specification document, and as we can see, the user has already been assigned to the test project 4. So now let's create a new requirement specification, and this says, let's say, requirement specification for demonstrating TestLink. We can look at the scope. This defines the requirement specification for demonstrating TestLink, and then this particular parameter tells us the number of requirements that would be there within this specification. So let's keep it at 5 for the moment, and this can change later on. And when we save, the requirement specification will be created, and now this needs to be refreshed. But the way to refresh it is, the better way is you go to home and then you click on requirement specification document, and here we can see that this particular requirement specification has been created. Now we can create the requirement from within TestLink, but in the usual scenario you may want to import it from another document. TestLink allows that, and this is what we are going to do. So we click on import, and this is going to be in a CSV file format. So we click on browse, and I have already prepared a sample requirement which is on my hard drive, and I'm uploading it. So let's upload that, and this is how the requirement would look. And TestLink gives you a chance to review the requirements. If everything looks okay, as in this case, you just press import and the requirements would be imported. Next, if you want to see those requirements, we need to refresh this. So we go to home and then we go back to requirement specification document, and we can see all the requirements that are there. So here we can see the requirement, which is the requirement is login. The scope is users should be able to log into the account from the username and password created by them. And later on in the next demo, we are going to show how do we write test cases. So this concludes this part of the demo. The objective was to show how to create requirements and import requirements from another file.